The hits just keep on coming, man. I just wrapped my show, and no sooner do I wrap my show than I discover that the Supreme Court has issued an earth-shattering, groundbreaking, use whatever metaphor you want, ruling to overturn Chevron deference. And a lot of people are hearing that this is a big deal, but no one really knows what that means. So the case was Loper Bright Enterprises versus Raimondo. And we don't really need to get into the details of that case. What matters is that it overruled this 40-year-old case, a 1984 case called Chevron versus Natural Resources Defense Council. And that case basically established the principle that the administrative agencies, the deep state, those little alphabet agencies that actually issue all the regulations that really govern our lives, much more so than Congress does, that those agencies get to govern themselves, that they get to interpret the law. So the Chevron rule has two aspects to it. The first is, does Congress speak clearly to some particular issue? If Congress speaks clearly, okay, there you go, you got to follow Congress. If Congress does not clearly address an issue, then the second part asks, is the agency's view of this rule plausible? Is it plausible at all? Can you say with a straight face, you can? Okay, good. Agencies, do whatever the hell you want. That's been the law of the land now for 40 years. And conservatives have considered this a major source of the unaccountability of government, the bloat of government, the capricious rule that we have. It's no longer are we governed like in Schoolhouse Rock by the bill up on Capitol Hill, best by Congress. No. It's now these bureaucrats who have nothing to do with the people, who rarely face any consequences. They just get to govern us as they see fit, and we can't do anything about it. So early on, starting, I guess, really just a couple years after Chevron, jurists and legal scholars began to suggest that maybe there were some limitations to Chevron. This would be the major questions doctrine, which took some years to fully articulate. But the major questions doctrine said, okay, Chevron deference can remain in place and the agencies can pretty much do whatever they want, unless what the agencies want to do would have a major political or economic impact. And the major questions doctrine's always been kind of a little bit blurry, but it was the beginning of some limits on Chevron. Now, though, this case, boom, it's giving the real movement conservatives, the real legal conservatives, something that they have been asking for almost half a century at this point. I didn't think Roe v. Wade was going to be overruled in my lifetime. I was shocked when that happened. I'm only slightly less shocked that this happened. I'm not saying it rises to the level of a Dobbs decision overruling Roe, but in some ways, from a structure of government perspective, it sort of does. And so just hours after we watched the sitting president experience rigor mortis on stage last night, you thought there's no way that anything could take this out of the news today. There's no way that anything could be even more newsworthy. And then the Supreme Court says, hold my beer. And Brett Kavanaugh says, I like beer. Wow.